One of the most skillful players in the league, an NBA champion, and an 8-time All-Star, Kyrie Irving has got something in his personality that is so unusual, you can't ignore it. In this video, the truth nobody wants to admit about Kyrie will be uncovered. The circumstances that surrounded him on his journey and his controversial approach to them will be revealed. Stay till the end of this video to learn the truth about Kyrie Irving and even gain a different perspective that may shift your thinking on the new era of athletes. Kyrie Andrew Irving is perceived to be the most polarizing player in the league. With the Brooklyn Nets era crumbling down, it all came to light, and he was the one to blame. For James Harden leaving, for Kevin Durant demanding a trade, so the Nets weren't even ready to offer Kyrie a new contract at that point and traded him to the Dallas Mavericks. But it's easy to blame the man, isn't it? Basketball fans, media, and reporters alike all were on his back and made up stories about Kyrie being a locker room cancer, and it was very understandable considering all the strange stuff he did after the Celtics and Nets outings. But the first thing that nobody wanted to admit about Kyrie and what could explain that unusual behavior of his was his mental health. Kyrie has always been very open about his struggles with mental health, about his anxiety and depression, and how it was disabling him to be on the court and play at the highest level.
You know, when I'm playing professionally and what's going on out in the world, and if you don't create that distinction, then it's easy to feel the weight of the world while you're going out there and playing. So, you know, I would be lying sitting here and saying I don't feel what's going on in the world, and nor am I paying attention to it. You know, I just have a huge responsibility, I feel, to continue to serve my community.
Kyrie was honest and authentic in his words, and many people praised him for having courage to talk about such delicate matters in public. Unfortunately, it was the only thing many people were willing to give Kyrie credit for. Moreover, Kyrie kept facing backlash and criticism for his off-court statements, speaking about the origins of Christmas.
The hoopla on Christmas I don't really get into that. I don't really necessarily think of Christmas as a holiday.
About conspiracy theories, and making comments about how he thought the earth was flat.
When I started actually doing research on my own and figuring out that there is no real picture of Earth, like there's not one picture of Earth, and we haven't been back to the moon since 1961 or 1969, and you start, and then it becomes like conspiracy.
Kyrie has a long history of communicating his thoughts in an unorthodox way, and the media kept painting the picture of him being a bad example, or even too smart for his own good. You've probably thought that at some point too. What's really on Kyrie's mind? But isn't there something to be respected about someone who says what they feel and believe without caring about what others may think? The superstar point guard seems not to be motivated by money or accolades, and that's the problem. People can't put him in the box, so the GMs and the media can't control him. As a result, he's labeled as problematic, crazy, and unpredictable. In reality though, Kyrie Irving is just a person, like all of us, with his own thoughts and perceptions, with his own ups and downs. Plus, he's a hell of a basketball player. The demand is there for him at all times, the demand to perform on the highest level. And guess what? He delivered. Yes, he was hurt for some time during his Brooklyn Nets tenure, but when he stepped on the court, he'd kill. You could see it in his body language night in and night out, and he truly gives it all when he's healthy. The numbers don't lie too. Kyrie averaged 27.1 points, 5.8 assists, and 4.8 rebounds in 143 games with the Nets. And this is a true testament of his strength and courage to face the haters and prove them wrong. When the virus hit, Kyrie took a stance. He refused to get vaccinated.
I just would love to just keep that private and, you know, handle it the right way with my team and go forward.
This decision had a major impact on his time with the Brooklyn Nets too, as the team plays in New York City, which had a law that required all individuals to be vaccinated in order to enter certain public spaces, including indoor sports arenas. Eventually, Kyrie was not able to play in any of the team's home games, which put a strain on his relationship with the organization and his teammates. His controversial decision not to get vaccinated became a distraction for the team and ultimately led to his absence from the court for a significant portion of the 2021 to 2022 NBA season. Looking back, many would argue that the vaccine mandate in New York was wrong anyway. But at that time, it was a major decision for Kyrie to make. He was greatly criticized and judged for his stance. Again, the truth is he's just a person who cannot be controlled by a vaccine or organization. He even was willing to lose millions of dollars because his beliefs and feelings are bigger than that. In addition to Kyrie's stance on vaccination, another controversial moment in his career was when he shared his thoughts on an Amazon documentary called Hebrews to Negroes, which included references to Jewish conspiracy theories. While Kyrie never explicitly said he agreed with everything in the film, he did call some of the things in the movie falsehoods. Despite this, many in the media were quick to label him as anti-Semitic.
The promotion of the movie and the book.
Can you please stop calling it a promotion?
However, it's worth noting that most of the people who attacked Kyrie had not probably even seen the movie for themselves. Furthermore, no one really explained how the film was anti-Semitic in the first place. In addition, it's interesting to note that the movie was available to view and purchase through Amazon, yet there was no similar outrage or condemnation towards Amazon CEO Jeff Bezos. This led some to question why Kyrie was being held to a different standard than others. Later, a couple of months after Kyrie's comments, an NFL team owner was exposed for having been involved in a controversial photo containing racist behavior 50 years ago. However, this news was brushed under the rug in comparison to the coverage that Kyrie's comments received. As a result of his comments, Kyrie faced significant consequences, including a suspension from the NBA, loss of sponsorships with Nike and other companies. Despite this, Kyrie remained steadfast in his convictions and continued to stand by his word. And this makes Kyrie a true hero, someone who isn't afraid to express himself and show the world who he truly is, even if it means facing criticism and scrutiny. Is he perfect? No, by any means. And none of us are. Would you agree? No doubt, Kyrie has made some decisions in his career that you may criticize, like leaving Cleveland to lead his own team back in the day, a decision that was met with some backlash from fans and media. Additionally, his time in Boston was marked by some unnecessary issues that didn't help his relationship with the team or the fan base, or even him taking time off in Brooklyn without letting Steve Nash know. However, it's important to acknowledge that again, Kyrie is a human being who is entitled to make his own decisions and learn from his mistakes. It's the truth that nobody wants to admit, but it's just the truth. And most importantly, another truth nobody gives Kyrie Irving props for is that human beings have the capacity to grow and evolve, and Kyrie is a perfect example of that. Despite his past mistakes, he has shown that he is willing to take responsibility for his actions and apologize when necessary. For instance, Kyrie publicly apologized to LeBron James for how he acted when they were teammates on the Cleveland Cavaliers.
I had to call Bron, and tell him, I apologize for being that young player that wanted to everything.
And he has acknowledged that he could have handled certain situations better in the past. Remember, basketball is not the only thing that motivates Kyrie Irving. He has other interests and concerns, such as social justice, mental health, and his personal beliefs. We should not fault him for not prioritizing basketball above all else, as everyone has different passions and values. In some ways, Kyrie's unashamed approach to his beliefs and values is reminiscent of the case of Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf, a former NBA player who was blackballed from the league after he refused to stand for the national anthem in 1996. Like Kyrie, Abdul-Rauf was willing to take a stand for what he believed in, even though it came at a great personal cost. So at the end of the day, instead of buying into all the labels and judgments thrown at Kyrie by the media, we should just respect him for who he is. He's an amazing talent who just wants to live his life on his own terms, and that's something that should be celebrated. Instead of trying to understand him or put him in a box, we should appreciate his game on the court, which is undeniably spectacular. Kyrie's unique character and style of play have made a huge impact on the league, and when he eventually retires, people will undoubtedly look back on his career with a sense of awe and appreciation. We may not always agree with his decisions or his beliefs, but we can still recognize the incredible talent and passion that he brings to the game. So let's stop trying to put labels on Kyrie and just enjoy him for who he is. A tremendously gifted athlete, a unique personality, and a human being who is constantly growing and evolving, just like the rest of us. Admit it.